Yo, and welcome to the MixWizard Sessions episode 7, where we are going to dive deep into dLive. So, on today's episode, okay, the theme of today's episode is diving deep into dLive, but I've also got a little mix challenge for everyone. Yeah, are you up to it? So, I want to make sure everyone's keeping their mixing skills up at this time. So I'm throwing out a mix challenge, okay? What I've done, down below, there's a link to the multitrack files of what I'm about to show you as well. And what I'm encouraging everyone to do is mix it old school. Pushing the faders on the console, okay? Mix it on the console. No mixing in your DAW, okay? Use your DAW for playback, that's fine. But mix it on the console, okay? Then put your mix up online, okay? Share us some photos. Take a selfie with your console, okay? Whack them up on the Ampa Facebook group, okay? So the Ampa Facebook group is run by us crazy Aussies, and it's everything Alan and Heath that we do in Australia, okay? So pop your mix up there, pop a link or pop your mix up, you know, share us some photos. Let's have some fun. Now, I'm going to nominate a couple of people to get us started. I'm going to nominate Val from A&H. Val, do a mix. Show us your little setup that you're running. And I'm going to nominate Andy Troy. So Andy Troy is one of our Aussie dLive guys who tours Australia with dLive consoles. So guys, do a mix, pop it up. Now nominate your friends, get people involved. I've just got an idea that we're just going to have some fun with this, okay? So, what is the song? Just a little pop track, some guitars, vocal. It's not a big song, okay? I'm going to show you what I've got going on, and I'm going to show you some of the deep things about dLive, okay? So, because we're mixing old school, I'm creating my own kick and snare samples. So I'm going to show you what I've done. So I've taken the kick channel and I've duplicated it. I've taken the snare channel and I've duplicated it. And I'm creating my own very compressed, consistent drum sounds that I blend back in with the original sounds to create drum samples, okay? So let's have a look at what I've got going on. And one of the things I'm using to do that is the Transient Controller. And my chair's squeaking again. Anyway, let's actually, first off, I'm gonna play a bit of the track so we all just know what kind of track it is. I really need to change my buffer settings.
Dear, like we're looking anywhere, for the mist has come and swallowed her.
Cool, so just a bit of fun. So let's have a look at what I've done to create that sound. So let's get rid of my vocals, get rid of the instruments, and let's jump in and just play some drum. Cool, so that's my drum sound as a whole. So kick number 1, cool, bit of EQ, bit of compression, gate, that's all normal. What I want to look at is this puppy, the Transient Controller. So what's it doing for us? Let's have a listen. Wow. Cool. It's given us heaps more attack to our drum sound. Yeah, crazy. Cool? Okay, one thing about this plug, okay, and don't say you haven't been warned. The Transient Controller, you only need a little bit, just a little bit. So what it does, it's got an attack and it's got a sustain. So you can make a sound have more sustain, less sustain, more attack, less attack. So you can take transient away. Okay, now my kick's a little bit lackluster. I'm adding attack to give my kick a little bit more point to it, okay? And it's doing a fabulous job. I think it's doing exactly what I need. But don't say you haven't been warned. You only need a little bit, okay? So then I've got this kick sample that I'm creating. And again, I'm using the Transient Controller. I'm using that channel. And I'm taking some sustain away, a little bit of attack, okay? Using my favorite opto compressor, of course, you know. But what I'm doing that's a little bit out of the box is I'm adding some hyper bass to the bottom of the kick sample, okay? Just to give the kick a little bit more weight down the bottom. Okay, snare, what have I got going on? Again, I'm using the Transient Controller. Now, if I take it away, cool, giving my snare more attack. So then again, I've got this sample I've created, which is just being absolutely, you know, pounded by Mighty. But when I put it all together with the overheads, cool, it's all working. Now, this is not the best recorded drum kit ever, okay? It's one of the reasons I'm giving you the track. Gotta make you work hard. Cool. So, we already know, because I've talked about this before, I've got parallel drum compression going in this. So what's that doing for us? Cool. So that's the kit. Parallel. What's the parallel sound like in this? I'm smashing it pretty hard. So without, with. Cool, giving us, just beefing up our drum transients. Okay, let's have a little look at bass guitar in this track. What have I got going on that might be a little bit different with that? Well, I've got the distortion again as usual. I'm using this puppy on the bass. Now, okay, and I'm compressing it into next week. Okay, it's pretty much in compression the whole time. I have the emphasis all the way to emphasis, okay? And I find I really like that. Cool. I've got an acoustic guitar that's doubling the bass line, and I've got my overdrive, which is being provided by the tube stage. Cool, so drums and bass, you know, it's pretty overdriven, the bass, but with the track, to fight with all those electric guitars we've got later on, I need that bit of overdrive to give the bass its, you know, its own clarity. Cool. I want to have a little look. I got something really cool going on with these guitars, and it's another plugin you may have never played with. Hands up who before has used Rotator. Cool. So I'm just going to go find a section. I've got it on one guitar part. Okay, let's look what I'm doing with it. So let me mute these. Okay, and it's this guitar part here. Without it, very mono. Again, so let's start it with off, very mono. On. So I'm trying to take a mono guitar part, I'm trying to give it some width, and it's got some modulation going on it with Rotator. Make it, you know, a little bit more interesting and giving it depth and space in the mix. So if you've not played with it before, it's a pretty cool, it's a great tool for taking a mono sound and giving it some stereo width going on. Cool? So when I put it with all the guitars at that one point, so for me, it's helping give that guitar part just its own special sparkle, okay? So what have I got going on the lead vocal? So lead vocal has 1176, yeah, okay, pretty normal. You know, it's getting a little bit of brightening, okay? He's got a verb. I'm using the plate, okay? He's got a slap delay coming off Bucket Brigade. And then he's got this extra long delay, okay? And I've got this fader here, and I'm riding this in and out when I mix the song. Oh, I forgot the keyboards. Shh, don't tell anyone I forgot the keyboards. So, keyboards in this track, they're really cool. Heaps of them were analog synth parts, I remember, okay, that were created. I've got a little bit of opto, a bit of compression, and I'm brightening some stuff up. But the synth parts are all just very there to support the guitars, and they're just really cool analog synth bits, okay? But be creative, you might come up with something real cool with them. So I'm gonna open up, let's have a little look. I'm gonna play and show you what I mean by analog mixing, okay? And I'm gonna ride this delay as if I was mixing the song, okay? And let's see what we get. So I'm gonna jump to this section where this is what I've got the big hero delays for. Let's see what we can do.
The humble heart seen in her eye, heart that low as her knees hit the floor. There's a grace found there, some love at lost. It wipes away the past. Embrace from Father sets the fire alight.
Cool. So a bit of mixing, remember? So hopefully I'm encouraging you guys to get in and be creative and own it. Create your version of this mix. Cool? Okay? There's no right or wrong because mixing is all about your creative take on something, okay? Yeah, so that's probably enough of what I've got going on. The other thing I want to do is fix my squeaky chair. But what I want to do is have another look at just something else unrelated, but it's a deep dLive thing that a lot of people I find don't know. So when you go and create a stereo channel, sometimes when you create a stereo channel, the two mic pre's, if you already had them in use, can already be offset, okay? And people go, oh, how do I get them? Or how do I get to the pad? One of them had a pad and one didn't have a pad, and now I want to remove that pad, okay? Or conversely, you do want to put a little offset, okay? So they're exactly even, and you do want to put an offset, and people go, how do I do that? Okay, it's actually hidden in the I/O window. So let's have a little look. I've got a stereo channel here, and I'm going to show you how to manipulate the two mic preamps individually when you've created a stereo channel, or engage the pad if you want on one channel, okay? So down here, I've got this test channel called test, okay? And it's a stereo channel where you can see that. It's on 20 dB of gain at the moment. So I go to it. Now I know I put these on the local sockets on local 5 and 6. So if you go and tap just there at the top, okay, it gives me all this info for that mic preamp, and it's telling me it is 121, which is my stereo channel, okay? Source A, which is left. So if I go to 6, and I get source A right, okay? So, and it's on, look, 25, okay? So I can change these, okay, to be different, okay? Now, I can pop it back to 20. Now I can jump here and I can move them, okay, and it's all tracking. But say I need an offset, okay, I can go in here and that channel will stay. So I'm going to let's put a 6 dB difference. So when we go and look here, so we'll go back to 5. So 5 is on 10 and 6 now is on 16, okay. Now, I could also, if I needed to, if I had the pad engaged, I could engage or unengage the pad. Cool. So if you didn't know that that's there, you can, any mic pre that's assigned, you can go and in the I/O window, you can go and interrogate the mic pre, adjust the gain, add phantom, pop in the pad, okay? So there's different places to do things, but so if you've got a stereo channel that's created and you need to manipulate it individually, or you need to, as I said, engage a pad or something like that, that's where you do it. Cool? Well, I hope this has been a bit of fun and helpful. I feel somewhat disjointed, but you know, hopefully it will all come across and translate. So yeah, so guys, get involved, create a mix. Let's have a bit of fun here, okay? That's what this is intended for. And yeah, basically create your mix, pop them online, and let's get involved in this. Cool? So next, you'll notice I've jumped onto dLive. So next session is going to be another dLive session where I'm going to unpack some stuff. So hopefully you understood a little bit about the Transient Controller if you've never used it, okay? So yeah, get involved. Use these plugs. Have a play, okay? Rotary, there's some really cool plugs. Oh, I remembered, on the keyboard, I actually had one of my favorite plugs on the keys. Which one did I use it on? No. There we go, one of the synths. I've got the Dim D, okay? So you can do lots of cool things in the console, okay? So hopefully there's a bit of encouragement, and yeah, looking forward to what ramblings will be in my next episode. And yeah, see us all tomorrow.